Hi YouTube, Coinpicker here. Here's a coin pickup, or I should say ingot pickup from eBay. I waited weeks and it finally arrived in today's mail. So basically this was a set. I paid about $500 American, including shipping, to get it here to Canada. And I haven't bought these in years. These are Chinese Qing dynasty Sycee ingots. And why I haven't bought it in years, because, Coinpicker's a little cheap. He doesn't want to pay full-blown retail, and it's been a while since I picked up a really great bargain. So I think the last time I bought one of these of this size would probably be a good, I'd say good 7, 8, 9 years ago. And the price I paid is pretty much very similar to the last one I bought way back then. So I definitely got a awesome deal. So it was a set or a lot on eBay, and the seller actually did a spectral analysis, or I guess those machines that x-rays them and gives you a percentage of metal content. So this one measured up. It's 99% pure silver. Have some other trace metals in it. This is a kettle drum Sycee ingot. This is a saddle pack Sycee ingot. So this is 10 tael, or 10 Chinese ounces. Just like on my last video, I was explaining, about how to avoid fake Sycees. So this one is about 390 grams, spot on. This one is 175 grams, which is spot on, but the seller did those the metal analysis, and this only came up to 58% silver, which is odd. It should be pretty much the same as this one, because they do have these assayer's marks, like official chop marks, and these three marks are identical for this type. It's basically the maker's mark, the silversmith. So these two marks is basically the same as basically the assayer's marks. I don't know. This could be a contemporary counterfeit or an old reproduction. I don't know. I mean, 58% silver, that's still quite a bit of silver. So I'm more inclined to say it's a contemporary counterfeit, because usually the fakes have like maybe, if you're lucky, 10% silver. So not to dwell or go back into the history of these things, I mean, the silver content is usually quite high because they were using foreign coins, melting them down and recasting them. So at the very least, it was like coin silver, 90%. And with their special methods back then, they brought it up to like 98 to 99% purity. So if you look here, these are the chop marks, sort of like semi-official chop marks. Well, I think it was, traditionally the silversmith marks. And it says here, Wu Pei, or Wu North Province made. Hupei or Wu Pei. So made in the province of Hupei. This is a reigning emperor mark. Dao Guang Yuan Nian. So the starting year of Emperor Dao Guang, or Tao Guang, however you like to pronounce it. I believe it's like from 1820 to 1850, if my memory serves me correct. And then here is the silversmith mark. It's very difficult to read, but the bottom character is pronounced Ji in Mandarin, or Gay in Cantonese. I can't see this part, but basically that bottom character is like how the French use chez, like as in someone's place. Like this could be Chow's, or Wong's place, of business. That mark, I'm pretty sure is authentic. These two marks from the literature I read during the 70s, there was a lot of these in Southeast Asia through the, I guess, local trade, China trade, and from way back. I mean, but there were some or quite a bit in Southeast Asia, like in Thailand, and still very big collector following, around the area, as well as Chinese going there to purchase. I read somewhere that these kind of reigning marks sort of brings it up a notch, makes it more interesting. Instead of just having one basic mark, now you're saying what year it is and what province. So they said, or they theorized, that these place marks and emperor marks, which are not really common for this size of tax ingot, most likely are spurious. That means this ingot, this Sycee, is real, but these two marks were added on more recently, relatively recently, in order to bring up the collector's value when when it's sold to a collector. So, but still, I mean, it is what it is, and I like it for the fact that it is part of its history, or that era, right? So pretty cool. Everything looks spot on. The casting lines of, the silver cooling down, and the gases being trapped and making these little holes, very fine. And when they stamped their markings, this is the contact from the hard surface that they placed it on before they whacked the markings on the other side. So everything's very consistent. And here's remnants of adhesive from an old label. So it came out of an old collection, I'm pretty sure. Just seeing that. I've seen similar marks or remnants before. So everything looks really good. Also, the toning looks good. And these are not cast in place like as part of the mold. It was actually hammered in afterwards. So that's very consistent. And this mark is, I believe, from when they were pouring it, and then they used the crucible to sort of tap it again. Spot on. Weight's very good too. And I did a little bit of like a tinging, and even for something so big and solid, you do hear a little ting ting, sound of high purity silver. This, on the other hand, it's off. I mean, the silver content, that 58%, that's really bad. I think the analysis said the difference was like copper, like 30 some odd percent copper. Very bad. Like basically 40% copper, or 1/3. The markings are very mushy. And look how deep it was hammered. I mean, if it was hammered with such great force, it would be very sharp characters. But I'm thinking, because it's not pure silver, this metal is a little bit harder because of the copper content. That's why it's difficult to get that sharp strike. All the strikes were pretty bad. I mean, this is not by wear. I mean, this was a store of wealth, and where merchants used to pay their taxes and do large transactions. It was not the normal thing that people would spend. Like, it should not be wear from circulation. These things weren't really circulated. They were placed in crates, just like gold ingots are these days. A store of wealth. So that already is suspicious. And Yeah, everything's too, like, this is too thick. This should be like pinched out really skinny. These squish marks here, if it was legit, would be more clear and pronounced. Here it looks like as if someone cast this from a real one. That's why it's not very clear as well. Yeah, I think these marks are not even stamped. I think they were just cast. So cast, like there's always a little bits of extra stuff when you're casting. It might have been filed down on these corners. That's why it has these funny looking marks. The real ones don't. They just look like it's squished metal because these should have been hammered for the marks. And it's just a little bit too smooth for my liking. See, you get the same sort of post finishing type of marks. I mean, if I saw file marks, for sure I would know something's up. And the only file marks I've seen, it's like testing marks. Like there's a cut in here. It looks like someone's testing the silver. And some scratch marks. So every time it passed hands, people were not sure about the purity of the silver. So again, I'm thinking most likely an old counterfeit as opposed to reproduction. So they were treating it as a piece of silver, like piece of bullion. But still, it was a good deal. So I based my purchase. I was like the only bidder on it. I mean, I was so shocked to tell you the truth. I based my purchase as if I wasn't even getting this because this is pretty much garbage. Other than the fact that it's probably like I don't know, $80 of silver still in here. So I'm not going to trash it, but I'm not going to add it to my collection. I don't know what I'll do. I'll think about it. But this aside, the money was for this. This definitely will go in my collection. It'll fit very nicely. See, this is from the mold. See these two little mold lines? Very consistent. Now value. I probably told you about value before, but I'll say it again for the new people out there. This probably should sell about 1,000, let's say 1,200 to 2,000 American dollars. So I pretty much got it for less than half price. Like depends if you're looking on the low side of things, right? So that's pretty good bargain because usually these are not discounted. So if you see them like make an offer now type of thing, or really cheap or starting at $1 auction, I would say 99.9% those are fake, all right, and coming from China. This came from the States, somewhere in the US. So I believe it was from a coin store. They probably bought it as part of a big collection of other coins and whatnot. So that was a really good deal. So yeah, the only ones I've seen lately of this type currently for sale, I showed in my last video, they're asking like 5,000 US, or actually maybe 4,000 US. Well, I know it was like thousands of dollars. So that is totally overpriced. If I wanted to sell this, I doubt I can get that much. But you know what? Some people, that shows you, some people are not in a rush. You know, you never know. You get that one person who really, really likes it and says, okay, buy it now. I'll pay 4,000 for it. But to me, these things are priceless. They will continue to go up and up in value. Also, when I see little defects like this, like a dent, usually the fake ones, the alloy is so hard that you cannot dent it. Like this somehow, I don't know, maybe it was some sort of chop mark here. possibly. But yeah, when it's dented, that means, like pure silver is quite soft. So that was one of my diagnostic um, diagnostics in determining if this was real or not. And have a look at this again. If this was real, it'll be again like 1,200, 2,000 easily. But yeah, still piece of silver, low grade silver, anyways. So the treasures are out there. I mean, eBay is one big freaking yard sale. There's a lot of garbage out there, and there's a lot of treasure out there. Well, not a lot, but if you're very careful and you look at all the details, you will find the treasure from the garbage. Definitely. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Coinpicker out.